Hi all, welcome to my channel. I'm Lavakumar. Uh, I'm consistently uploading videos related to machine coding, low-level designing, and also in future I'm trying to upload videos related to system designing also, and also all the interview-related questions which I was encountered in my previous interviews. So in this video, I'm going to teach you one of the machine coding round question called designing an mini e-commerce application. I will go through more about what are the things which I got in the interview. Before that, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel because from now onwards I will consistently upload videos related to the system designing and machine coding and low level designing concepts. Yeah, so without any further ado, let's start talk about problem statement, and then we can go through the how to implement the particular problem. So this is the pretty normal plain system designing, plain machine coding ground question, which I got 90 minutes to develop. Choice is like any language, but I have applied for Java backend interview, so I got like I have designed through Java. So once you're clear with the what are the things which they want us to implement, you can use whatever technology you want to use. So first thing is like requirements. First thing is like add product. And second thing is like add buyer. Third thing is like check inventory. And fourth one is like pin code serviceability. Fifth one is like create order. So these three are main important things. Yeah, these three are main important things. So we'll talk more about all these three things. Yeah. So first thing is like let's say in the e-commerce application, right? We have products are there. Let's talk about products called let's say laptops. One second. Yeah. Let's say we got we got product called laptops. Initially there are five items are there in my inventory. So every time whenever someone is buy this laptop, right, I need to decrement the count, right? So this counter shouldn't go to the negative. uh, and uh, uh, and we cannot give we cannot give. So let's say we have in the database, let's say we have only one product is there for laptop. So if two persons trying to buy the product, we cannot say we cannot give the same product to the two persons, because we have only the one product is there in the laptop, which means like this part should be something like thread safe, which means synchronized. And next thing is like pin code serviceability, which means like let's say I was in Andhra Pradesh, let's say a city called Vizag. So someone may be in Hyderabad, and someone may be in Bangalore. Let's say we have Vizag, Hyderabad, and let's say Bangalore. So whenever someone trying to enter the product, right, product details. So basically, we have so pin code serviceability basically requires two details. One is like whenever we are entering the product, we'll basically store the product address from where we actually the product is getting packed. Let's say product is getting packed at Hyderabad. So this is the here the product data product information is there. So I am from Vizag. So buyer has the address and product has the address. So basically this you can say as like let's say let's say source, and this can you can take as destination. Yeah, from product units to destinations, right? Buyer's address, which means like source to destination. we need to find like pin code serviceability is like basically this particular source pin code is able to serviceable for that, for this particular destination pin code. So which means like let's say in Flipkart or Amazon, right? Whenever you have trying to book any particular product, there are two kind of user experiences are there. One, directly itself it will show like this particular product is not available, which means that product is not available means it doesn't means that inventory is zero. It's something the product is not able to service to that particular location. If you update the location, right, the product may seem as visible to able to buy. So that is the feature which they asked me to implement. So let's say Hyderabad is, for example, let's to demonstrate. But the laptops inventory is there in the Hyderabad. I was in Vizag. I need to buy. Um, but So my pin code is basically Vizag pin code, and this is the Hyderabad pin code. In our database, right? Whenever we are trying to buy this, whenever we are trying to get the product of laptop, it will check like what is the source pin code, and what is the destination pin code. If these if there is a match happen between source to destination, then I can able to book this one, basically create the order of the laptop. Otherwise I cannot create. Let's suppose there is no mapping, like let's say Hyderabad to Vishakhapatnam, right? Then this product shouldn't be available for me to buy. This is the one which they asked me to implement. There is one more functionality also they asked me to implement while creating the order, right? While creating the order, there are two types. One is like cash on delivery, and second thing is like online through credit card or debit card, through online payment. So we can also, they also ask me to add one more condition, and not just source and destination match. There also be should be if let's say there is a path between the source source pin code and also destination pin code, but but this destination pin code, this seller who are actually selling this product, right, can only accept the cash on delivery only, or else only online payment. So when you're opting for cash on delivery for this particular product, but this particular product only available for who are booking in online. So even though we have this particular record in the database, we need to show this as like unavailable. So these are the features which they asked me to implement. So they're expecting writing a clean code, and everything should be to adhere the solid principles. Um, and also all these functionalities are implemented or not, and also code is compiled or not. These are the main important things they're actually checking while evaluating my code. So let's go into the code walkthrough. So yeah, we have like models are there, we have repositories are there, we have services, we have util functions, and we have exceptions. So the main responsibility of writing is like clean code, and also it should be extensible, it should adhere solid principles, and it should follow some design principles also. So let's talk about first models. So first we talk about buyer model. So buyer model basically has a buyer ID, buyer name, and address. In that, these all things are necessary information we can keep for a buyer object. My main thing is like address, and in that main thing is like basically pin code to check the serviceability. Pin code is required, and second thing, the second one we discuss about like a product. So product also, product ID, product name. Here the main thing is like basically product quantity, product address to identify the unique one called product ID. So because a product is also has address. Basically, product is address is basically the inventory, like where actually the product is physically stored, and also buyer is someone who is actually placing the order, right? So both has like addresses, and product has like product quantity. Second thing is like basically we can talk about like pin code serviceability, which has like destination pin code. Just forgot about destination pin code. Just think about this as a pin code, and also what is the payment mode. Mm. And we have something called payment mode. In the payment mode, we has a code cash on delivery or prepaid or both. And we have error code is there. There are different error codes are there. What it's completely up to us whatever error codes we will implement. But only thing make sure is like these error codes are making some sense, like insufficient inventory, pin code, unserviceable. Like whenever if inventory is not sufficient, right? We'll throw the insufficient inventory. This is a reasonable error code so that anyone can understand. Similarly, if pin code is not serviceable from source to destination, there is no pin code, there is no serviceability is there. We can throw the error code called pin code unserviceable. These all are like normal error codes like duplicate product creation fail exception, buyer creation fail exception, product creation fail, order creation fail exception. So these are all like error code mappings. And let's talk about order. Order basically contains the order ID information and also product ID information, buyer ID information, quantity information, and also payment mode. I am not storing order object, buyer object, or product object because this buyer object or product object I can basically directly get from the this from the buyer and product object directly by calling with the product ID and buyer ID. And also order has like how much quantity it is basically buying, placing the order, and also what is the payment mode, is cash on delivery or payment or prepaid, which will help to check the pin code serviceability. So this is like all about models, and this is all about exception. We have like e-commerce exception, and it has error code and also error message. The reason why I have created only single exception, because generally, right, whenever wants to create an exception, we will create like different kind of exceptions, like order creation exception, order failed exception, order duplicate exception. We will create different kind of exceptions. I thought of creating a single exception, but I just want to reuse the single exception with the help of error code and also error message dynamically or dynamically setting the values. How I am setting the values dynamically with the help of error code map util function. It has like error code map. It has like I'm maintaining the hash map, which contains the error code buyer creation failed, and also basically it contains the key comma value pair. For this particular key, what is the message I need to display? For this particular key, I need to what is the message I need to display for this particular error code. This is everything. This is static, right, which will initialize while running the program itself. This is the util function which I was using to throw the exception to reasonably throwing the exceptions where the user can easily understand what is the wrong. This is all about error code map, and we have util function is there which will generating the unique ID, uid.random uid generator. And yeah, let's talk about most important things are repositories and also services. We have buyer repository, which has like in the machine coding round, or you no need to take care about all the DB related things. Everything you can maintain in the in-memory hash map through the help of hash maps or whatever data structure you like, basically. Because hash maps will solve everything in order of one, right? That will just insertion operation. I was using hash maps. It has buyer repositories there. Buyer repository has two things. It's called create buyer and also get buyer. In the create buyer, if it is already buyer is already presented, you cannot create the same buyer again, right? That's why I'm throwing the buyer creation failed exception. If not, I was putting the buyer information in the buyer's hash map. Next thing is like product repository. Product repository will basically has the create product and also get product, right? Create product will contains the product. If it is product is already created, you cannot create the same product again. That's why you can add the product. You can add the quantity of the product. But you cannot create the same product again, right? That will comes under whenever you wants to add anything to the inventory. So that part I didn't implement it because they never asked this. They never asked in the particular time frame to implement. So that's why just simple two functions called create product and also get product. So next thing is like a pin code serviceability repository, which has like two functions are there: create pin code serviceability and get all destination pin codes. In the create pin code serviceability repository, here the data set is maintained is like um, source pin code, and source pin code has number of destination pin codes and also payment mode. Because whenever there is a map between source and destination, we also check whether the payment mode is acceptable or not. If it is not acceptable, we can throw as like unserviceable exception only. So it will create pin code. I was just inserting into that. If pin code is already presented in the source pin code, I was adding the new destination pin code. If it is not presented a source pin code, or just creating a source pin code, I was inserting into the hash map. This get all destination pin code is basically for this particular source pin code, or what are all available destination pin codes. These are the two important functions which I was implemented. The fourth one is like product repository. Product repository will contains the products hash map. I think I already discussed this one, right? Let's talk about order repository. Order repository is simple thing, just has create order and also get order. So this is a like talk to database, right? Will only implement what is directly inserting everything into database. If anything, checking like let's say validations, all these things should be handled in the service layer, not in the repository layer. That's why this is just we'll talk about create order or get order only, no, nothing else. I think there is one more better. I think you can move this exception part to the service level exception. It's completely up to you how you design the system. Next thing is like service. The service we have buyer. We have first thing is buyer service. There's like add buyer and get buyer. These are the interfaces. I have implementation in the IMPL package. This is the best way I think to implement because function classes should talk with via interfaces, not via classes, because classes are somehow tight coupling. Interfaces will provide the flexibility of loose coupling, and also interfaces also provide the flexibility of dependency of injection. This is a buyer service, right? It has like add buyer. I was talking to buyer repository. Uh, Here I was creating the buyer. I was returning the buyer ID. While getting buyer, with the help of buyer ID, I was returning the data from buyer repository. This is all about buyer service. And second thing is like product service. Simple thing. Add product, get product. In the product service, the important thing is like check inventory. This one we'll talk about. This one more. Um, yeah, add product and get product. Nothing is there. Same what we discussed as buyer, just storing and getting inside from the database. In the check inventory, yet two threads cannot access, right? That's why we have used the synchronized one, where exclusively this one accessible by the single thread, because it is something database operations also happening, right? We are decrementing the inventory count and we're checking the inventory count, because if two threads concurrently accessing, it might chances of getting race conditions or like phantom rates, all these things. So this is only true when comes to like machine coding around or for low level design. This is absolutely fine. But whenever talking about designing, right, from like extreme low level designing or system designing, then you should talk about something called because this one won't work whenever it is distributed environment. Whenever this service has many instances, not single instances, many instances, because this particular code is written in each instance, right? So each instance is responsible for handling a single thread, but all instances ultimately getting the race conditions, because ultimately DB is the single one for all the services, right? For all the instances, where you should have something called distributed logs. Either you can use Redis distributed log, and also you can use the database logs itself. Best thing is like optimistic log, and for cache for fastness purpose, you can use distributed Redis logs are presented. You can use all those things. You can talk about all these things, but for machine coding node, I think not required. Here I was getting the product information. I was checking if order quantity, whatever trying to book the order quantity is actually less than the what is my inventory. If it is less than, I was I was updating the database, and I was returning the true. Basically here the log should happen, right? If it is if order quantity is if it is greater than, right, what there is insufficient inventory, I need to throw that insufficient inventory exception. This is all about product service and also check inventory. Next thing is like pin code serviceability. It has a create pin code serviceability and checking if source and destination pin code is matches or not. Let's talk about how we're implemented. Like here create pin code serviceability is there now. So here just creating and we already talked, right? We just pass it the source code and also pin code serviceability pojo. It has like destination code and also what is the payment mode. Once it is creating the pin code, right, then I was checking. To check the serviceability, first I need to get the all the destination codes for the particular source code. Once I need to get the all the destination codes, I need to check like, okay, whatever order buyer destination is basically contains in that particular all the destination pin codes. If it is contains, then I need to check, okay, if payment mode is also mapped to the particular one. If payment mode is not mapped, we simply rejected. um, we can simply return true. If it is, if both is true, we can simply reject false. If both is true, then only we can we will say is pin code serviceable. We can, then only we will return true. This is all about like a pin code serviceability. Yeah, next thing is like order service, right? Order service will, this is the main thing. Add order is the main important thing. um, so whenever you're dealing with order service, first whenever you're explaining to the interviewer, right, about your design, should talk about, okay, order service is something you only talk to the order repository. For order service, I want product information, buyer information, also pin code information. The best practices is like I need to talk about respective services, not the respective DBs. That's why I was only talking to the product order repository, because the service is basically is order service. For rest of the functions, for rest of the information, I was talking with the respective services. Their respective services will basically responsible to call their DBs to get the information. So in the typical environment, these will become as like REST API calls. If it is like each service is basically each microservice. So generally now in here these are like basically function calls. In the we require the product information, because we should get the product pin code also. We require buyer information. We require the buyer's pin code also, and also, yeah, and also we require the product quantity also, and of course we require the pin code serviceability check also we required. For that's why we are using these three function dependencies of this particular order service. Yeah. Yeah, in the add order, first I am getting the source pin code. Source pin code I already told, right? Source pin code is basically something called uh, mm, which is basically the inventory, actual physical location of the product. So that's why I need to get the address of the product ID. Based on product ID, I need to get the address of product pin code. That is the source one. Next thing in destination is like basically buyer's pin code. Once I got source pin code and destination pin code, the next thing I need to do is like check is source and destination pin code is matched or not with the help of this function. If it is not serviceable, this function, I should return I should return is like pin code unserviceable, and I'll throw the whatever message I was configured. If it is successful, then I need to check like inventory count. If inventory count is like true, then I will create the order and I return the order. If inventory count is false, or if any exception happened, then I simply return the order creation failed exception. So this is the main important thing. Let's talk about like driver function. In the driver function, we have implemented buyer repository, order repository, product repository, everything I was created. Here the main important things. I have created three addresses. One is like for Vizag, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. For product one is basically at Vizag. Product two is basically at Hyderabad, and product three at Bangalore, and product four at again Vizag. And order quantities, everything is 10. So first adding all these products, and for buyer one, let's say Lavakumar is the one who are actually located in the Vizag location, and Pranava is like basically located in the Hyderabad location, and Kavya is basically locating at the Bangalore location. Um, so I think these two names are like interviewer names. I think while writing this code lively, these are interviewer names. Yeah. So next thing is like I'm adding all those buyers. So I have added all the products and also adding all the buyers. Next thing is like adding the pin code serviceability also. Create pin code serviceability. So Vizag, I was adding Hyderabad. So Hyderabad prepaid is acceptable. Vizag prepaid is acceptable. Hyderabad Bangalore prepaid. Bangalore and Vizag prepaid. So these four I created. Now it's time for order booking. So I was trying to book the product one from this buyer one of quantity 5 prepaid. So product one is basically uh, from address one is like Vizag, and buyer one is also address one is Vizag, right? and also prepaid. So this should be successful. This one should be successful, and this one also same buyer buying extra one. But here if you see, we have only 10, we have only 10 quantity, right? He was trying to buy 6 extra one, so this should get the insufficient inventory exception. And if you see this one, product one, this buyer 3 was trying to buy the product one. See, product one is Vizag, but buyer 3 is basically in the address 3, right? Address 3 is nothing but Bangalore. There is nothing like Vizag Bangalore mapping is there, na? So this should get as like a pin code and serviceable. So when you run the code, see, so first one successfully, order one is placed successfully, and second one we got like insufficient inventory because we were trying to buy the sixth one, which is not inventory is not sufficient. And third one we're getting the pin code is unserviceable because of like there is no mapping is presented. So yeah, yeah, this is the one which I was designed in the 60 in the around 70 minutes of time. Um so yeah, I was qualified for this round. That's why I'm sharing. Like if anyone encountered this particular question, you guys can. It will act as good reference for you. I will put this particular code in the description in the GitHub channel. I will GitHub, and I will post in the repository. Sorry, I'll put this one in the GitHub, and I'll post the link in the description so that you can refer the code itself. So in the next video, I was trying for rate limiting concept because that is the one which also I got in my previous company, and also many people are asking, and also I have seen like many interviews that rate limiter question is getting commonly for the machine coding round as well as low level designing round also. So I will explain the low level machine coding round for the rate limiter. There I will talk about something related to threadings, and also how to simulate lively, how to execute multiple concurrent requests at a time, and how to say like how to check like rate limiter. So all these things I will upload in the next video. To get the next video, don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up, and also press the bell icon so that whenever I upload the rate limiter, you will easily get the notification. Yeah, I think that's it for today's concept. We will soon meet. Yeah, thank you.